What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the After Credits scene. We're giving you our forecast and predictions for episode 4 of Miss Marvel. As always, like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we drop new content, you'll be the first to know about it. Then share this sucker all across the multiverse. Let's get right to it. So, last episode, they introduced a new problem into the story, and the whole episode really moved things forward really quickly. We learned that Miss Marvel, that Kamala is descended from Jinn, from genies, that they are not good guys. I'm not necessarily going out on a limb here. They've been exiled for some reason. They're trying to get back to their own dimension, their own reality, whatever, and they need both Bangles to do it. So there's a lot of things going on there, but the story got bigger, some things happened, and then it put itself into a situation that I'm going to call the Karachi problem that we can't get past, that's going to have to resolve itself before we move forward. In other words, I'm going to be really upset if they kind of gloss over it and they do some other things and the series stalls out for an episode while they figure it out. I think they have to address this pretty quickly, and given the pace of the show so far, I think it's a pretty good bet that we address this problem. At the end of the episode, Kamala has another vision, and she sees this train car that says Karachi on it. Her grandmother calls her on the phone at the end of the episode and says, "Did you see it? Did you see the train?" They have to address this. There's one little side story that I think is going to have to pop up, and we're going to get to that too. But this problem here brings two possible scenarios into question, and I'm going to throw out a pretty crazy theory, so stick with me here. The side story here, one, I think they're going to 100% have to address this. The side story here is that the Jinn that the damage control people took into custody at the end of the episode, are they going to get interrogated? Are they going to escape? Something's going to happen there that they can't just put off because everybody's kind of in a race against time at this point, and Miss Marvel is always just kind of one step ahead of them. And so the powers that be, like we talked about in the last several reviews and our forecast for episode 3, are kind of coming together, and Kamala is off doing her own coming of age journey. These other powers are going to come head to head, and so I like how they've kind of separated those things out. But what's going to happen here with the Jinn, I really don't know. They could really take this any direction they wanted to. Damage control becoming aware of these guys. I would look for some threads here. You know, I keep talking about all these threads. I'd look for some threads here that have to do with maybe some Secret Wars things, some secret invasion type things. I think there's a lot of potential here to kind of pull the story one direction without pulling Kamala into it. Having said that, let's talk about our different Kamala trajectories here. So, two different theories that we can take. One, Kamala convinces her family to travel to Karachi. I really don't know how that's going to happen. I've got 50-50 on both of these. She either convinces them or she doesn't convince them. If she convinces them, then we get this international story here. We get her family going and doing something together. Maybe even Bruno gets to go with them to see their culture, or maybe she comes up with some way to be able to travel and the story jumps forward, a couple of months. There's always something they could do here, but I have a feeling that the writers and Kevin Feige and everybody involved with this is going to try to keep the story as quick as possible. So I don't think that this is going to happen, but I'm putting it out there because it's always a possibility, and it's the more likely scenario when I'm thinking through what might happen. My theory is over here. Kamala does not convince her family to go to Karachi. There's always some way that she can have a conversation with her grandmother without coming to Karachi. But it seems like there's something going on there, especially given the flashback we got in episode 3 at the beginning, that there's a need to go to Karachi. So I think Kamala does not convince her family to go to Karachi, and we keep on this track of secret identity and Kamala having to sneak around behind her parents. But there were a lot of connecting threads, and I've been telling you the whole time, watch for threads, watch for things that are coming down the pipe. I think that this is where we get some big revelation where Kamala figures out another portion of her powers. When she put on the bangle, she was able to teleport herself, or she was taken or shown some other reality, whether it was in time or whether it was, a portal, whatever it was. The Jinn already believed that these bangles have the ability to transport you to another dimension. I think that Kamala is going to figure out how to do that, and she's going to get to go to Karachi at a moment's notice. She's going to teleport there. She's going to get to see whatever she needs to do with her grandmother, and then she's going to teleport back, and nobody knows she was gone. I think that fits more of the story. I think it fits more of the coming of age tale. I think it fits a lot of the different threads that we've seen so far, even though it feels kind of out there. But this is where I'm putting my money. And so I think that would be a more interesting story. It would kind of show that Kamala is learning how to do these things that the Jinn have been talking about. And it also progresses the story in the straightforward fashion that it needs to. And then episode 5 and 6 can work on wrapping it up and introducing cameos and all those different things. That's why I say here, 80% chance here, even if it doesn't happen this way, we get some other revelation about Kamala and her powers and some kind of level up. I think we get a little more truth here when it comes to what her powers are, where they came from, how they came out of her. Not just that the bangle gave her something, but there's something else there. And I think we're going to get that in episode 4. I think if you save it for episode 5, it's a little too late to kind of unpack. And episode 5 and 6 really need to set up a few things, and they need to kind of bring the story to a close, because we're working towards a movie here, most definitely, rather than there's this standalone story that they can play with. Because of that, and I think all of this stuff is going to happen kind of around here, you got to remember, historically, Disney loves their episode 4s. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, Hawkeye. There's a lot of revelations, a lot of cameos, a lot of really interesting stuff that happens in episode 4 leading into the finale and the penultimate episode right before that. And so I'm more certain, but this could always stall out. I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm very excited that this show has had a really good pace to it, and every episode has been a lot of fun. But something can always flake out, and things can always not go the way we want them to. This is where I start telling you to temper your expectations, because we all want these big, grand, epic finales, and we want all this resolution, and sometimes it doesn't happen because they're leading you towards the next thing. But historically, Disney loves their episode 4s. So I think a lot of this stuff is going to happen. My theory is on some teleportation power, on something different here that gets her there and gets her back really quickly. And there's some kind of revelation there, whether it's that or Kamala finds the other bangle, her grandmother has it. It would also explain how Kamala's grandmother or great-grandmother was able to get out of Karachi without being seen, if she had that bangle and was able to figure out how to teleport, transport, whatever she needed to do. So, a whole lot of stuff there. I think the episode's going to be a whole lot of fun. There's a lot of unknowns, but I'm kind of going out on a limb here and saying look for these things. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Share those comments. Subscribe, as always, to our channel. Thanks for doing that if you've already done it. Share our video all across the multiverse. And check out some of our other content over here. We got a whole lot of things you can sink your teeth into. And when the next one drops, guys, we'll see you right back here. Later.